the cloud. So let's look at this first question. All right. So your cost to date on the job are $25,000. There's an estimated cost remaining of $45,000. The contract price is $100,000. To date, you've been paid $40,000. What percentage of the work is completed at this time? So this is a very basic percentage of completion problem. So take a minute and see what you can come up with. You can hit the pause button if you like. So if you got answer B, 35.714%, then you did it correctly. What you did is you went to that formula, you added 25,000 and 45,000, you got 70,000. And then you took the 25,000, your cost to date, and you divided it by the total, the cost to date plus the estimated remaining percent complete, and you got 0.35714, and you move the decimal point over twice, and you got 35.714%. If you got that, then you did well. If you didn't get that, then go back and see. Let's try it again. So let's take it to the next level and do number 2. All right. So this we have to remember, we concentrated on costs for number 1. Now we're going to take it to the next level and let's see what we get here. Okay. And this is more common sense than a formula or anything. So just think about it. If you were 35% finished with the job and the job was $100,000, how much would you expect? How much, as they say, how much is earned?
I mean, it would just be it would be B again, basically. I mean, it's easy math when it's a easy number, 100,000.
Exactly. It is easy math when it's 100,000. So it's 35.714% of 100,000. So, and if it was a hard number, then that would be really easy anyway. If it's 125,000, be 125,000 times 35.714, like we talked about, hit the percent key. Some cases you got to hit the equal sign again. That's fine. Or you could say 125,000 times 0.35714. That works too. Okay, all these things work. And when I always remember from a math class when I was in school where the teacher said, when you have of, the word of, that means multiply. Okay, 35% of 100,000 means that's a multiply. That's multiply 100,000 times 35%. And then you get your answer. Okay, not so bad, not so bad. So let's go ahead. I don't want to answer all these questions. I'm not really crazy about all of them. But this particular one, number 4, is a pretty good question. So let's take this one. We got a job's cost is $3,000. It's going to estimate another 9,000 costs remain. The contract price is 15. What percentage of the job is complete? So you might want to hit the pause button and see, work it out and then come back and see if you got the right answer. If you got 25% as your percent complete, then you did it correctly. You took the 3,000 plus the 9,000, you got 12,000. You went to your formula. You added those two together, you got 12,000. Great, set that aside. Now let's take our cost to date. Remember, it's the smaller number divided by the larger number, which is sometimes not natural. We're going to take the 3,000 divided by the 9,000. We get 0.25. Move that decimal point over twice. We're 25% done. Now let's take it to the next level. All right. In the above question. All right. How much have you earned? Hit that pause button and work it out and then come back and see if you got the right answer. If you got 3750A, then you did it correctly. You took the contract amount, $15,000, because remember, you're due 25% of your contract now. It doesn't matter, your costs are great. It's great. You got to cover your costs, but you're due 25% of your actual contract amount, which is 3750, which is going to give you, I mean, you spent 3,000, you made 3750, you got a little profit in there, or, and what have you. So that's great. Keep that in mind. And then there's one other thing that I like to talk about is retainage. All right. Now, there's not a question here about retainage, but I do like to just mention this at this point, because what they may tell you, what a typical retainage terms are is 10%. So the question may also ask, if your retainage is 10%, then how much are you actually going to get? And that would just be the 3750, okay, minus 10% at equal sign, or 3750 times 10% and subtract it from 3750. It's basically 10% of 3750. You take a zero off, you get $375 is what they're going to retain. That's your retainage. And then you subtract that from 3750. Okay, so that's just a little bit about how you might handle retainage, and hopefully you know what retainage is. And if not, we can talk about that another time. Okay, so we have done two pretty basic percentage of completion problems, and if you were able to do those without a whole lot of trouble, then it's looking good. Now we're going to go to another one. Now, basically, remember, it all starts at the same place. Dealing with costs, you're going to go to page 24, and that's where you're going to start. We're all dealing with costs. But then they're going to throw, first of all, they're throwing other stuff at you here on this one. They tell you your costs are, to date is 900. You got another 1350 to go. Estimated remaining cost. The contract is 2700. It says you receive 500 a date. Okay, well, think about this. Just because you received money, most of the time, that's going to be irrelevant with regard to what you've earned. You've earned what you've earned, regardless of how much you've gotten paid so far. All right. They're going to try to trip you up with that. But and then what'll happen is once you get what you've earned, then you can answer some questions like they have in number 6. They've got an A, B, C, and D, and they're throwing some stuff at you. But the bottom line is, most of the time on these questions, you got to do the math, figure out what percent complete you are, figure out what you're owed, and then you can answer these questions. There's no reason to guess. I got a lot of people that get this far and they want to guess on this question. They get real close and they just want to guess. You don't have to guess. Figure it out. Go to your formula and figure this one out. Hit that pause button and then come back and see how you do. So there's a couple of things going on here that might have caused you an issue, but if you went back to your formula and worked it that way, you should have been okay. So once again, we go to our formula, we add the 900 cost to date plus the 1350 cost to complete. All right, we get the 2250. We take the 900, divide it by the 2250, and then we get 0.4. Now, here's a little bit tricky issue for people that aren't really good in math. 0.4, what do you do with that? You got to move the decimal point over twice. Well, you have to realize that it's understood there's a zero to the right. There's a bunch of zeros all the way to the right that's understood after the decimal. So it's 0.4000. So you move that decimal point over twice, 0.40 becomes 40%. Yes, you're 40% done. That's great. That's a good first step. You're 40% done of what contract? 2,700. 2,700 times 40% equals $1,080. So the only one that is correct is you have earned over $1,000. And it doesn't matter. Once again, it doesn't matter that you've already been paid 500. You've still earned $1,080. Okay, so that can be an issue as well. So if you're catching on to this pretty well, then you're way ahead of the game. We're not going to look at number 7. I don't really like that question, but we'll look, just do a couple of more here just to give us some practice. So you have a job with current costs of 250 grand. You estimate 125,000 in costs remain, contract for 50,000. You've received payments 290. Okay. So you have earned what percent? So first of all, they're just asking us what percent of the job is complete. So that should be relatively straightforward right now. So hit that pause button, figure out number 8, and then see, come back and see how you did. So if you got answer C, 66.667%, then you did it correctly. All right, you just went back to page 24. You said cost. So I've got cost to date and estimated remaining cost to complete. We're going to add those two together. And now here they changed the terminology a little bit. Current cost, cost to date, same thing. Okay, just think about that. 250,000. You estimate you've got 125,000 in cost to remain. Same thing. Cost to complete. Estimated remaining cost to complete, just a little bit different way they word it. So you add those two together, you get $375,000. Okay, so you take the 250, our current cost, our cost to date, 250,000 divided by your 375,000, and you'll get 66.67% complete. Hey, and if you got that, you're doing well. If you didn't, listen to that explanation again and see if it makes sense to you. So I want to skip number 9, but I want to go to number 10 now. Okay, so we're going to refer back to the question that we just answered, and we're going to answer A, B, C, or D. So take some time, go back to the calculations that you just did, and let's see if we can answer question 10. So hit that pause button and then come back and see if you got the right answer. So you should have gotten answer A. You have earned more than you've been paid. We have been paid $290,000. Well, how much have we earned? Well, let's figure it out. We know we were 66.67% complete of a $450,000 project. You do the math, that's the contract. You do the math, 450,000 times 66.67. Now, the only reason you're going to get somewhere around $300,000. Okay. It all depends on how you round it, whether you did 67% or 66.667 or wherever you cut the decimal point. If you could have just had 0.66666 in your calculator and multiplied it that way, that probably would get the most exact answer. But either way, you're going to get somewhere around $300,000. Okay. Well, guess what? If you've earned $300,000 and you've been paid $290, then the answer is A. You've been paid, or you have earned more than what you have been paid. And if you were able to make it through those questions without too much of a problem, then you have got a really good shot at getting all of the percentage of completion problems correct on the exam. Excellent.